Hey everyone, this is Will, and thank you for joining the Law Schoolers. Today we're going to be going over a little bit of pre-law, and what I want to do is share my story of how I decided that law school was right for me. So, when I was in high school, I was fascinated with understanding how the government worked and how politics functioned in general, and consequently, a lot of my studies were directed at gaining a greater understanding of the government and the U.S. Constitution. However, I didn't really want to become a politician, so I was thinking about what I could do instead that would allow me to have a career in politics without being in politics. And the easiest thing for me to do to answer that question was, well, law school sounds like a really good idea. I mean, government involves law. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And so I just thought, okay, law school is where I'm going to go and we'll see what happens from there. Obviously, that's a very naive way of looking about how to get into law school and what to happen from that. But as I explored it more and more, a lot of things changed. So I remember when I started college, I sat down with an academic advisor and was thinking about what major should be my major. And while I was reflecting on high school and politics was my field, and a lot of people seem to go to politics and law school using a political science major. And so that's where I ended up going with my major path. In retrospect, I probably wouldn't have chosen a political science major. Something similar, or at least maybe a political science minor. But I would have chosen something that would have made me look like I stood out, and it would have also explored other options or interests, I should say, when I was preparing for law school. But I still didn't really know what I was doing. I was excited for college, but I was really lost, and I had no idea how to prepare for law school, other than making sure I had good grades and getting through school quickly so that I could just get a law school, not spend a whole bunch of money, and hopefully my plan would work. Well, I went through my first year of school following this path, and then after that I spent the summer out of state working in summer cells, and I know that's kind of a cliche thing to do during a summer. And quite honestly, it was miserable. But because I was so miserable of summer cells that I was so anxious to be back in school, and it really gave me a drive to explore what I wanted my career to be. And so when I was still out knocking doors on the summer, I mean, I wasn't doing this while I was on the doorstep, but I started looking at law firms back home that I could just go petition the opportunity to gain some experience. And it worked out quite well. I came home, I prepared a resume, and I sat down with several law firms. I had a couple of interviews and was offered a position working for Dexter & Dexter law in personal injury. And personal injury is definitely not the field of law that I would like to continue to explore, but it was a great experience in getting to know the attorneys and what the legal field was like. It really gave me a lot of sense of direction, and it really refined my desire to attend law school. But it also told me that there are some fields of law that I have no interest in. And so, going back to school, and as I came closer to graduation, I took some constitutional law classes, and this was Poly 420 and Poly 421. Both of these were for my major, but they were they were most definitely my favorite classes of my entire college career. And these were both constitutional law classes focusing on the structure and the framework of the Constitution, and then also focusing on constitutional rights and immunities. And what these courses did is that it really helped me shape my understanding of the Constitution deeper than it had ever been before, help me understand why the Supreme Court rules in certain ways that they do, and how we can interpret and understand the Constitution. Not only that, it gave me an understanding of what constitutional law was like. And so these classes really shaped my desire to go into constitutional law as my field of study. Now, I haven't attended law school yet, but that's my game plan right now, is to follow this goal of constitutional law. And if that fails, then I'll go into sports law, because it just sounds fun and enjoyable and interesting. But here's really how I came to my game plan of how I'm going to tackle law school. First, it came in three big events. High school, where I developed a purpose, and that was to understand government and be contributive in some way there. And then my internship, where I was refining the interest, where I understood that law is much bigger and broader than what I was anticipating and needed to be refined. And then third, college, and specifically the constitutional law classes, I would say that biggest lesson was to narrow my focus. So those are the three biggest things that helped shape my desire and knowledge, and that law school was right for me. There are things that you can do to help you know that law school may or may not be right for you. And that's something that we're going to tackle in a different episode. But thank you so much for listening and joining the Law Schoolers.